At least we're doing something on Black History Month.
Christian, can you pass down the flyer or the policy?
Yes.
At least one of them. Exactly. Thank you. Oh,
Yeah, Jesse.
do you have one? Do you want them? Oh.
Maybe there are no uniformed people with guns in the audience. That's nice. That there are no uniformed people with guns in the audience.
As long as they have a Harper's Ferry patch on.
Yeah.
Cool.
An open carry space?
I believe it is.
I think it's the openest and carriest.
I'm sure the station. It's
All right,
everywhere.
4:30. The recording is live.
You aware of that?
Yeah, sorry.
I left my phone at home, so by accident.
Didn't see Norm, are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, council. And I want to go ahead and call the special town council meeting to order February 27, 2026. This is a special meeting. And council, I want to make note that as with most special meetings, we do not have public comment. So please do not call on a member of the audience and engage in back and forth with anybody sitting out there, because that will defeat the purpose of what we're trying to accomplish. I know, Christian, you have a couple items that people have submitted to you, and that's fine. We need a note taker before we proceed. Okay, Storm, let the record reflect that Storm is going to serve as the note taker. Approval of the agenda is a motion to approve the agenda. We have a motion from Chris. We have a second from Jesse. Any discussion on the motion to approve? All those in favor of the motion to approve, opposed, motion carries 5-0. New business, discussion action regarding maintenance of mains contract. Who has that agenda item?
I do. So I'm going to put a quick spreadsheet up on the wall here. And in, I think, the most recent council meeting, you approved up to $30,000 for some maintenance of mains work. And I am going to just explain to you what is going on with that right now. Okay, there we go. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. All right. So up here at the top is a summary. On the right here is what we began in fiscal 25 with, and the maintenance of mains work that have already been paid out of renew and replace, contributions that we expect in 26. And so with that in totality, your renew and replace account would end up approximately here at the end of fiscal 6 that we're in right now. Sorry. These are the first items coming down here that have been paid out of renew and replace that you've already approved. This item 1193 Washington, this has been invoiced. It'll come to you for approval at the town council meeting in March for $4,670. That is complete. You may be probably aware of the work that has been being done across the street, which included mobilization for the potential to also do these other 6 items, I think. That turned into be a really complicated quagmire, covering 2.5 days, and it's not done. There will be more work done on it next week. So that being said, right now, this work on Taylor Street, I think, has been completed, and Spring Court is currently active. But after that, Steve is not gonna deploy any other work until we get our bill on this situation and see where we land. So I just wanted to bring you up to date with that. And all of this work right here is basically this 3,900 is like a day's worth of work. It's kind of a good benchmark estimate for us to have. And then the 53 here includes deployment. And then, you know, they do keep hourly. If they make less, then have less work, then they'll bill it less. But that's a good benchmark for us to understand. So that all that work together is 33,370. So just wanted to bring you up to date so that you knew what was going on. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Chris,
Not a question, but I hope we can convey to Steve and all of his staff how appreciative we are of the overtime, the hard work.
Well, he wanted to be here. He's in the ground right now. If we need him, he said we could call him, but I would say that we should probably avoid that if we can. But yes, this situation has been really difficult. We're dealing with some of the oldest pipe, and where it goes and all that is a bit of a mystery still. Yeah.
It's made me tired just watching them. They have been nonstop for days.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's unfortunately old line, and fixing just a part of it just isn't always the only answer. It then becomes another problem. So yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, yep.
And that one across the street that we're dealing with right now, we dealt with that 3 years ago, and it was even worse then. And it just opened right back up again. It's just a difficult situation.
And just clarification, the 33,370 is what the basket of projects to this point is total?
Well, that was the basket of estimated projects if they had occurred, and we were able to address that whole list. But that first item, well, the first item's done, 4,600. The next one was that 5,400. That has exploded into probably 3 times that. So with that being said, Steve just took care of 2 other little ones, which hopefully aren't even a full day each. And he's going to stop with that.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Any other questions for Debbie on agenda item number 1? Agenda number 2, discussion action regarding post meter installation flushing. This item may require executive session. Who's got this one, by the way? Can we do it? You think we can get through this in the clear?
Yeah, I was not sure why it needed to be.
Yeah,
Okay, let's try to get it
It's a
through.
policy.
Let's get through it, try to get through and clear. So whoever's got it.
Well,
Do you want me to cover the highlights and you can?
do you want to
Yeah. So-
tell us where this came from?
Right, so we're getting ready to replace everyone's water meter. Our contractor recommended and wanted us to share with everyone who's gonna get a new water meter, which is everyone in our utility, these instructions for after the new meter has been installed to flush the water through their house system before they just immediately after the meter is installed. So the first time you want to turn on the water, you want to go through this process before you start using your water. There's always the possibility that there could be some debris in the line or something like that, and this process should flush all that out so that there's no damage to anyone's fixtures or anything like that. So this was sent to the Water Commission for their opinion on the process. Some anticipated that some people in the community might want reimbursement for the amount of water that's required to do this. As we all know, this is something that happens a lot here, and it happens in any water utility. Turning on and off water to your home is part of the cost of the luxury of having water at your fingertips all over the world. And so the Water Commission was asked to assess, should we be reimbursing people? This will certainly become a question, I would imagine.
Yeah. And so Water Commission discussed yesterday, and I think there was consensus that there should not be an offer of reimbursement for the flushing. They did have some particular ideas. One of them that we add robocall
Mhm.
to the notice along with the door hangers
Mhm.
and the notes going out in the bills.
Mhm.
There was also we wanted to make sure that the notice occurs, people are actually aware that the work has happened.
Mhm.
Somehow that gets
Right.
conveyed. So people are not flushing ahead of time or, a week after using the water, so that the time is clear. And
There was something about aerators.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, they have to
Got
be
it on
taken
my-
off.
the aerators, some folks thought that was not clear in the instructions. However, when I looked back,
Seemed clear to me,
it
but I
seems
think we
pretty
can
clear.
adjust the wording.
As I looked over this morning, my idea was that if this is, apparently the contractor is saying it's a matter of some urgency, that maybe that should be conveyed at the top,
Mhm.
that with a big urgent to avoid busting pipes or water contamination.
Or damage to your fixtures.
Yeah.
So, I've been talking with, the engineer, and I've also had some contact with the vendor, with our contractor, and I sort of envision, you all suggested that we have a brochure go out about the whole project itself. I sort of had imagined that would happen in the March bills. I don't think that's gonna happen in the March bills, but I see that as a separate mailing. And part of that mailing could be attention to these instructions, that this will be part of the process. And then I also sort of envision that as we, the meters are gonna come in groups of about 200. They're gonna get installed in groups of 200, then there'll be a couple weeks and there'll be more, something like that. So as we approach those sections, they're gonna know where they wanna go, and that notification would go out by email and robocall to say you're in this upcoming group. And as if someone's home, there can be a knock on the door, but also upon departing, we were talking about having some door hangers made up that have these instructions on them that alert someone if they're not in the home, they're coming into the home. This has happened. Your meter has been changed. The first thing you need to do is this flushing.
Mhm.
So trying to pull all that together and imagine that the contractor may have some other thoughts on it, but that was sort of the way we were envisioning to handle those timing issues. And I think we can just adjust that wording a little bit so that it's more clear that if there's an aerator, you need to remove it. Basically, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like, it sounds like you don't have to take out every aerator in the house, that it's mainly.
Well, I think we can, it's the very last instruction says clean and reinstall all aerators.
That's all.
And I think you can get some debris in
So
other
if that's
areas.
the
So I would
case,
say
it
that,
does need to be clarified.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll make that like a step, remove all aerators.
The other
Yeah.
thing that just slight editing on, do not drink the water before or during the
Okay,
flushing
Okay.
process.
and just so that you know, Steve did do an analysis of approximately how much water would be passing through someone's home in order to do this. And obviously that's gonna all depend on the size of your home and how many fixtures you have and things like that. But some calculations were done, and at the most, if this was, let's say, 350 gallons, that would be, was it less than $8 in water? So if you did this exactly as it is laid out here. And so that was, by the Water Commission's opinion, considered a nominal amount that was just part of, the luxury of having this service that we all enjoy.
Okay.
Sweet.
So,
Chris, what do you want us to do
um,
with now? What's our next step?
well, it sounds like, there's a little bit of editing, but I wonder if we could go ahead and make a motion that this go out with with tweaks.
Yeah, with these tweaks. And also that there is, I think what we're looking for is the policy statement that there will be no monetary compensation for this process that is required.
There was, if I may, one other issue, and that is ice makers.
Well, there was that detail too, that there may be some water consumption that people do not think about. Ice makers came up particularly.
Okay,
A lot of people have them with filters. So they usually have a filter in them.
all right, I'll
Not
check with
expensive.
the contractor and the engineer to see if they have any special recommendations about ice makers. And if they do, we will include that in the initial outgoing messaging. We'll include that in each step along the way if there's some special stuff about that.
It could be easily added as a third bullet there
Sure.
at the end.
And once we finalize this, I'll circulate it to you so you know what's gonna go out there, but, yep.
Christian, go
I
ahead.
had a question regarding properties that are vacant most of the time and how we reach those people.
Well, they have contact information on file. So everybody should have submitted with their application and email. I would envision that when it's gonna
Okay.
happen, they're gonna
Okay.
be notified. And then, I don't think that we can be responsible for figuring out whether or not they're vacant, but by putting the door hanger on the door
Mhm.
at the entrance, the first person who goes to that door should be receiving that door hanger.
Not necessarily the owner, but,
Well,
yeah.
but that's the person who's, and then that's between the person and the owner. That, I mean, I don't think that we can,
And it's not going to make a difference if there's a delay.
Oh, I get it. Yeah,
For
I
the
understand.
flood-
They can do it
for
6
the
months
flood.
later.
Yeah, if they have not used the water or if they are not consuming the water.
Well, in some place like where I'm from, when there's a big blackout, an extended blackout, they hang a tag on your door that says, when you go in your house, your breakers may be blown and you need to fix
Right.
them. And
it's just
the same
what
thing.
happened, yeah.
All right, Chris, are you going to attempt a motion without using the word tweak?
Well, they're Tweak brand meters, so you can't get around it.
I move that the flushing instructions after meter exchange be distributed via robocall in the water billings and through door hanging or door knocking at the appropriate time, and that customers do not receive reimbursement
Okay.
for
Good job.
the flushing.
Second.
All right, second, Storm. Deb, do you have,
So
you okay with that?
instead of the water billings, can we say in the announcement of the project mailing?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure that those two things are gonna coincide.
Okay,
Okay,
Got that, Storm?
and if my second is agreeable to that, we'll
Yes.
make that change.
Are you- All right, we've had a motion, we have a second. Is there discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion? Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Number 3, discussion and action regarding public safety and law enforcement policy concerning proposed West Virginia House Bill 5477. Christian, I'm going to ask you to take the lead.
Okay.
And this is how I think maybe a good way to do this. If you could walk us through the process as you know it to be right now. And as I was reading 2008, House Bill 2008, then looking at 5447, it's not clear to me what the principal differences are. And I think if it's possible, you can clarify those, what's already in law now, and then what will be in law different from that in 5447, if that is adopted by the legislature. And I also know that you have a couple, citizen comments,
Mhm.
and I believe Storm has a citizen comment to bring in for the record. So go ahead and Christian, go ahead and take the floor on this
Okay.
and guide us through as best you can.
Best I can. Okay.
And then also don't forget to mention Charlestown and Ranson
I
and
will.
what they're doing.
Okay. So, let me just start with them first. So two of the towns already, the city of Ranson has developed what's called a public safety and community information statement, which is, I believe, on their website. So you can read what they're doing. It is a 2-page document, basically to help clarify and help the residents to provide clarity and understanding related to public safety, applicable law, and the city's responsibilities. And some of their students have questions, so they put together a very good document explaining what their rights are, everybody's rights are. That was done in January 7th. Then Charlestown Town Council, and this was signed by the mayor, including all other town council members, and they made a public safety practices resolution concerning immigration enforcement within the municipal limits of Charlestown. And so it's similar to this document. So that's today, that's what we're going to be contemplating.
Christian, just a point of clarification for me. The January 7 Ranson and the Charlestown, whatever the date is on that, did that precede 5477?
Yes, the 5477 was introduced by our delegate, Bill Ridenour, on February 12th.
Okay.
These two documents were, and the Charlestown one, I forgot to tell you the date on that, and that was February 2nd of this year. So both of them preceded that document. They were responding to the bill, the 2008
Okay.
bill.
What was the thing we voted to adopt last month? In town council meeting, we voted to adopt a statement of something, a statement of rights or a statement of something last month. I'm looking for last month's agenda here.
Do you remember?
Let me pull it up.
While we're waiting for that, in 2003, the House had a bill 2008. It's called Bill 2008, and it was signed by Governor Justice in March 29th of 2023. Took effect in June of 2023, and the key provisions are prohibiting of sanctuary cities, mandatory ICE cooperation, inquiry authority, financial penalties up to $10,000 per month for any municipality, and anti-discrimination clause. So that passed back in the day, but it was optional. Not many cities in West Virginia signed up for it. Sheriff's offices, yes, but not so much on the municipalities. The only large one I saw, I believe, was Fayetteville. But Jefferson County and Berkeley County Sheriff's Departments did sign up for this. Now, this bill that Bill Ridenour has introduced, and it's been brought into the Judiciary Committee. This bill makes some changes where, let me get to it. It requires participation. You've got to be in it. They have some stuff about jails. We don't have a jail, don't have to worry about that. But there will be financial penalties in addition to what they had in the other bill. This one will also remove state grants from your town, and then there'll be oversight from the Attorney General's office. So this is pending. This bill is up in the air right now.
It has passed the House, but not the Senate?
No. It's still in committee.
Committee, okay.
Committee as we speak, right? Since Wednesday, it's been in committee. They have to lock everything down by March 1st.
So to be clear, currently, at the state level, there is law that says this is something that the state can do, municipalities may do. This new one that is not yet law would say you are compelled to collaborate and cooperate with ICE.
Right.
With sanctions if you don't.
Yes.
And they got some pretty tough ones. There's things to worry about. There's unfunded administrative things for us. These police officers have to go into training up to 4 weeks. So you're going to lose a police officer. You have to. They provide the training, but then you have to pay their salary, and you have to. There's some other little things that we're going to end up paying for that. Also, it takes away from our home rule a bit by taking away power, taking away authority from a town, because you're mandating federal deputization limits our ability to prioritize local public safety. And then finally, it threatens our funding. You take away funding from a town, you put us on a financial cliff. So,
Christian, has any Jefferson County municipality responded officially to 5447?
haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Now, I went online and had a potential letter that would go to the chair of that committee, J.B. Akers. He's a fairly new delegate. Came in 2024, was appointed, and then he eventually got elected into office. He is the chair of that committee where this bill is sitting, and Sunday is the day that they have to have it done. Now, my hope is that if we sent a letter to the chair, that maybe he wouldn't put it on the agenda, this bill, or if he did, maybe it can be changed or something. But this would be, if we can get it, if we can convince him not to take it out of committee, because if it goes in front of all the delegates, then it's very problematic if you can even do anything to even stop it. And then the last person to stop it would be the governor to veto it. But not too likely.
Jesse, did you find?
I did not.
Okay.
We may have there may have been something we discussed in executive session. I'm not sure. It's in my other notebook.
Okay.
But
if you find it between now and the end of this meeting, let us know. Okay.
So we can do a resolution like this, but like the two towns have already, but I think we can do that a little later. And it's just a strategy I'm talking about. But if we can get a letter from the town council to that committee, we still may be able to impact that particular bill, 5477.
I thought you outlined the problems with the bill very well. I appreciated your work on that.
Thank you.
I would like to see added to it a statement that is obviously important for Harpers Ferry, but it's really important for much of West Virginia, that we are a tourist town, a tourist state. We welcome all kinds of people, and that and we also welcome their money, and that if we continue to do things that make people feel threatened or uncomfortable about coming here, they're going to find other beautiful places to spend their money in.
Other states. I mean, would potentially avoid West Virginia altogether.
And yeah, I'd like to see that stressed in the letter somehow.
Okay. Go ahead, Christian.
So the strategy is, if we can do a letter and then later do a proclamation or a resolution like our other fellow towns, they really stepped up to the plate. And just as my opinion now, but they really stepped up to address these issues. And I just think it's something for them to do that. And we need to tell our, basically taxes come from the residents, come to provide. They should not be dictating to us all these issues, this kind of thing, enforcing federal law. So, but that's.
All right, go ahead and go over any public.
Yeah, I've received a correspondence from Michael Rock on 227, and he is a resident of Harpers Ferry. I'll try to do a good job here. I would like to speak in favor of the town council passing a resolution opposing West Virginia House Bill 5477, forcing local municipalities to cooperate with ICE. Do we need a competent ICE? Probably. Do we need comprehensive immigration reform? Most assuredly. But we have neither. Instead, we have an anti-system, anti-democratic Republican Party refusing to engage in meaningful immigration reform for crass political purposes. To make matters worse, we have a performative and out of control ICE operating as a paramilitary force, intimidating, beating, and murdering citizens in broad daylight as they did recently in Minneapolis. It turns out this behavior of ICE is not new. It is long-standing, as documented in a recent Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The End of the Myth, by Yale history professor Greg Grandin. As Professor Grandin says in his 2019 book, this is a quote, as the power of ICE grew, its impunity continued unabated. And since 2003, patrollers have killed at least 97 people, including 6 children. Few agents were prosecuted. Young girls have been physically abused and threatened with rape, while unaccompanied children apprehended by the Border Control experience physical and psychological harm, unsanitary and inhumane living conditions, isolation from family members, extended periods of detention, and denial of access to medical services. Stress tortures, including migrants being placed for extended periods of time in extremely cold rooms, continues. One 7-year-old Salvadorian girl who was trying to unite with her parents in Long Island was captured in Texas in 2014. She was kept in an ice box for 15 days. It was cold, very cold, she testified. The lights were on all the time, and the floor was hard. I couldn't sleep, and I was hungry all the time. That was from his book on page 263. In an earlier book titled The Tarnished Door, The New Immigrants and the Transformation of America, John Kruston reported that Border Patrol violence weren't one-offs, but part of a pattern encouraged and committed by officers up the chain of command. As he said, the violence was both gratuitous and systematic, including stress techniques later associated with the war in Iraq. Others being sent to Mexico were handcuffed to cars made to run alongside to the border. Patrollers pushed illegal off cliffs. Wow. Done, a patrol agent told a journalist, so it would look like an accident. That's on page 251. Is this what we have become? Is this who we are? Do we really want local municipalities to cooperate with an out-of-control performative ICE? I think not. I applaud the town council for its bravery and foresight in passing resolution against West Virginia House Bill 5477.
Storm, did you get somebody can give you something or?
No. But I have some comments of my own.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So I feel like the letter as laid out is enough as far as what should be a reason for this bill to be quashed. I think it's a great idea to send it, given the unfunded administrative burden and how it would erode home rule and public safety. However, personally, I feel there are other very good reasons, some of which were outlined by Mr. Rock. It's constitutionally suspect and would likely be subject to lawsuits. Those lawsuits would probably succeed, given how similar authoritarian measures have been greeted by the courts, but a lot of damage could be done in the meantime before a law like this was shot down. So now we have an opportunity to use our voice to push back and say no to forced collaboration with ICE, and that's what they're pushing for. So imagine what it's like at this moment if you speak Spanish or you have an accent that ICE considers to be, in their estimation, foreign, or you look foreign to an ICE agent, whether it's how you dress or the color of your skin, or to know that ICE has quotas to round people up, and those criteria are enough to make you a target. And for all of us to know that they will both figuratively and literally shoot first and ask questions later, or maybe not ask questions at all. ICE has shown no restraint in attacking and even executing in the streets those that would even witness their acts, including U.S. citizens, like Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minnesota and others whose murders were not recorded on video. And what you are doing right now will tell you who you would have been if you lived in the American South during slavery or during the mid-century civil rights era. Perhaps you were there, or Germany in 1933, and that's no longer to be said hyperbole. So who will we be? Are we going to be among those who tell it like it is? I want to push back when this administration says their $40 billion immigration enforcement effort is about public safety, and it's important to address this. When their own numbers show that only a small number of the people rounded up by ICE were ever convicted of a violent crime, when they're ambushing immigrants and refugees who have been following the rules that they were told was a path to citizenship. These are people who only want a better life for themselves and their children, to be American. And when people are being denied their constitutional right to due process, families separated, people dying in detention centers, and today it's just been reported that EMS has been called to a detention center in Texas 15 times since September to treat kids in medical distress. What's going on in there? And they deny that these facilities, including the warehouse or outfitting in our neighborhood near Hagerstown, is anything short of fledgling concentration camps. And again, it's crazy, but that's not hyperbole. And these are all additional reasons that I believe Harpers Ferry should not collaborate with ICE. I don't want any part of that. And ICE and the administration do not get the benefit of the doubt now. The presumption of regularity is gone. Court after court after court has found ICE and the administration telling lie after lie after lie. And legislators in some states are using their voices and powers to push back. Sadly, our representatives aren't showing that same backbone, and some of them seem to be in a contest to determine who enjoys the taste of boot leather the most. And in Harpers Ferry, we do not have much power. We're small, but we do have a voice. And for me, passing this resolution may seem like a small thing, but it will take voices and actions, great and small, of many types, from all corners, to counter the hateful actions that are fast rotting out the foundation of what has made the United States of America a worthy, if imperfect, experiment, and a beacon of hope for those around the world who want something better, to be American. And there is no cavalry coming to save us. The cavalry is here, and it's every one of us in this room. I look forward to voting for this resolution on the bare facts of it, and hope that it makes a difference.
Thank you, Storm. Christian, let me ask you a procedural question. When is the vote? If we're talking about a letter first, you mentioned that that would be the first thing. Okay, when would that need to be in?
Today.
Today.
It has to get in because everything wraps up on Sunday. They're working through the weekend. So it's like this crazy period of time. They're all trying to get their bills moved up, and they do it all at once.
They have the crossover day, that's the deadline, right?
And we may already have missed it because it started Wednesday for the 5477. That may have been done already. I don't know.
So I would say that, it's urgent that we get word to everyone on that committee.
It's an email.
And also, in case it has moved on to at least our senators in Charleston, and I'm not sure who else in the Senate, maybe a similar committee. What is this, the Judiciary Committee?
The Judiciary Commission. Yeah, that's that Akers guy. Aker. is the chair of the committee.
Okay.
That's why I send it to him and send it to the members of that committee
So,
or the.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a matter of timing now. All right, we're not gonna have time to put another council meeting together, so there's gonna have to be 3 of this group. So we don't have a quorum to come up with a letter that we can.
Well, I already.
You got, I know you got this here.
Yeah.
I mean, are you proposing that we adopt this verbatim right now? I mean,
Yeah.
based on what Storm read and
Yeah.
what you read and some of your sidebar comments, maybe a couple of items need to be added.
Storm and I wrote something, and they're both fine. I mean, Storm's is good. I'm a little.
Well, we're talking about the letter that's going to the legislators.
That's
I
all.
think that one as it is, I'm comfortable with that one as it is. There's the
Is
second.
that this one, Storm?
Yes,
Okay, and has everybody, have you all read that, Jesse, Christian?
Which one is that letter?
that's the one addressed to the Judiciary Committee.
Right.
I
Yeah.
read it.
It's a good letter. Yeah, it's a good letter.
Yeah.
That's the letter. I remember.
All right.
It's very factual. It tells it like it is. It's not sensational. It's not over the top or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I looked at it, and I was doing it quickly in between a lot of other jobs, I was reading it as an outline of the points, but I thought you were spot on.
Yeah,
Because
and it's within the bounds of what we're required to do as a municipality.
I mean, it's an unfunded liability to the town. I mean, they're making us do something that we shouldn't do, that we don't want to do.
Well, you know, what they're asking, what it requires of us is that if we arrest somebody, we have to check their immigration status and report it to us.
Mm-hmm.
Most of that bill is concerned with stuff in jails,
Correct.
and you know, that's pretty ugly. But that doesn't concern us.
Yeah.
You know, I have something to say before this goes too far, if that's okay, ma'am. And so this is difficult, you know, and I feel like I've been living in a TV show about politics the last day or so. You know, people have come by, they've called to get my thoughts on this, and you know, some of our residents who are out of the country have reached out to hear what I have to say, you know, because they know that I have an awful lot of skin in this immigration situation, you know, and having them reach out and see what I thought about it meant a lot. You know, it said that the work that we've all done here at this table to rebuild this community is having an effect. You know, it's working. People are beginning to look out for each other. You know, it's that community I want to talk about. That community elected us to represent them all. And that includes the people who oppose this bill and the people who think it's a good idea, and there are some. But also, we have to represent the people who don't want any part of attaching their name to opposition. You know, this is a touchy time. You know, I'm not sure that we as a body can issue a statement which actively excludes part of our population and forcibly includes people who do not want to be included in a purely political statement. You know, I believe our role is to ensure that our residents have access to their rights, that they can exercise them when they see fit, and that you know, their voice can be heard. But I do not believe it's our place to be the voice of part of our population. You know, so I come from a rough place, a bad place, and one of the things you learn early is you don't pick fights. And if you're going to fight, you've got to get something from it, something tangible. you know, the scars and trauma from fighting are, they're still there long after the glorious cause has been forgotten. I'm on the internet like this. This is embarrassing. I struggle to identify what we gain from this. You know, we can say that we oppose this, and then if it becomes law, we will comply with it. We will do what this law says. And all we have succeeded in doing is putting people in the crosshairs of, and they don't want to be there. It's dangerous. You know, we have years of high-level policy direction coming at us that most people in this town find distasteful. There may come a time when we have to fight. You know, we will. But I don't think this is the time. We're putting our residents and we're putting ourselves out in front, but it's not time. We're not in a fighting posture yet. This is where we're calling attention to ourselves and potentially vulnerable residents for little gain. It's very momentary, but the risk we're exposing these folks to will remain. You know, I don't have a good answer. You know, I honestly thought we adopted we spoke about what Charleston and Ransom had adopted, and I did think that we voted to pursue a similar tack. And, you know, I think that is a way forward. You know, we can put a statement like that on signs. We can put it all over town. You know, we have 500,000 people that'll carry our message to the world for us. You know, we can make our position known without picking a fight, without excluding anybody, and without putting anybody in the crosshairs. You don't need to be. And that is all. Thank you.
All right, what's your recommendation? Yes.
Well, I think that we should adopt a statement similar to what Charlestown and Ransom have done, and we should make that a very, very visible public statement. I do not think that we should make an open stance against a law that is almost certain to pass.
Storm?
I don't know the legislature as well, and if this is something that is basically on rails and being fast tracked, I do not know the West Virginia legislature that well. If it's the case where these things simply have not been brought up to them, it could cause it to derail this law. And I feel like they have outstripped and abused any authority given to them. And I do not believe that they would even follow the letter of what this is. And our officers could be compelled to do more, that it could be beyond jails. And what I read, it can be more than that. And that the wolf is not just at the door at this point. There was an action in Harpers Ferry. And I think that there's strength, especially if the towns together are doing this. And I think that might be why that this came up at all, is that there is pushback. And without pushback, that is what authoritarian regimes count on, that it will just be accepted. And it may feel like it's safer now, but the more you feed this beast, the larger and more dangerous it grows. So I don't feel like it's not an immediate benefit or gain for it, but I feel like it is important, especially if it simply is a matter they've been in their bubble and have not seen these top line non-hyperbolic effects that this law has.
What's your recommendation?
I would recommend that we do send the letter as proposed. If there can be members, if they choose for their conscience or any reason that they do not wish to be signatories to it, that they not do that. And I also do believe that the resolution is important as well, a separate one. And we haven't gotten to that yet, that it specifically outlines the constitutional rights that we uphold, and we were sworn to uphold. They are at the state level too. But if they're not going to say it and do it, you know, if nobody does, then they don't exist.
Okay. Christian,
I'm for doing a letter. I mean, because this legislation isn't passed yet, and so we still have a shot at telling them what we think. That's all we're doing. But the downside is if it passes, it's going to cost us, and we're not going to get reimbursed for this. And our police are going to be used by ICE. I mean, and I'm concerned as a business owner who works with visitors that come here, and I am concerned that we get a reputation of the state. This is a #1 tourist destination in West Virginia, and now all of a sudden we get a lot of immigrants. I don't know if people go to Lower Town and look at how many people come to this place that are not like me, white people like me, but other skin and hair and all people from all over the world come here. And it could hurt us.
what's your recommendation?
I'd say we send this letter off as soon as we can.
Chris?
Yeah, I actually do think that we have a good chance of affecting this bill. Last year there was a bill before the legislature to make it illegal for towns to have non-discrimination towards LGBTQ.
Correct.
Fairness West Virginia organized very quickly all of the cities across West Virginia with non-discrimination ordinances, and we were either the first or the second city to pass one. All they were asking for was to get 2 current or former council members from each of those cities to sign their petition to go before the legislature. I was asked to organize here in Harpers Ferry, and I think we got more than anyone else. I think we came up with about 12 names. It did not pass. So I think there's a lot of legislators in Charleston who are dead set to make statements on social issues, to make points towards a base or to certain types of voters. There's a lot of others who may not be making public statements to oppose that, but they're pretty uncomfortable with it. And so I think we need to add to that discomfort. I think we should pass this. I also see our role as having a police force here in Harpers Ferry that I'm very proud of. I've been here long enough to see a major change in that police force. It used to make people uncomfortable when they were here. I remember guests from Brazil coming to town and being scared to death by the police chief here at one point in time because of an encounter they had had with him. We don't see that anymore. We see police that are controlling a very busy tourist town, helping with the traffic, helping in emergencies, and seen, I think, by all of the residents and most of the tourists as a friendly force. I really don't want that to change.
All right.
How many arrests have we had, a month? How many arrests do we have? Do you know?
For DUI, just a typical arrest? Probably not much more than 10
Annually?
annually.
Yeah. We're talking 10 a month? Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere around there. It's not a large number. Okay, let me plot a course of action here. I think that all four of you made some excellent points. I think we should put a letter out with a couple things. I think there's a couple points that should be added to it. And Chris, you brought up or maybe it was Christian. I don't remember. You brought up a point. You said we're a tourist town and a tourist state, and we welcome all people along with their money and blah 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 blah. I think that's an important statement to make, and that we put that in there. What I'm suggesting is, and Jesse, I'd like you to consider to be part of a group of three to put a final draft together. I think it's important to have your voice.
Whatever we decide, I will support.
Yeah, but I think you raise a good point and had a lot of merit to it. And then so did Storm and Chris and Christian, and I'm looking at the bigger picture here. And I'd like you, along with Storm and Christian, could the three of you put this in final? So then the next question becomes, I'm recommending that you put it in final for my signature only as the mayor to take the heat off of any other council member. All right, so put it all on the mayor. Now, if you think it would have more merit to have 7 people on it, that's a little bit of coordination because David's not here, Kevin's not here. And do we want to put ourselves through that?
If we as a town are going to say something, I just assume put my name on it.
I'm sorry?
If we're going to say something as a town, I want to put my name on it.
Okay. Then somebody's going to have to take the burden to get it by David and see if he'd be willing to sign on. I think the 6 of us, without a question, correct, would be signing off on this. Okay, I think I saw all the heads nodding.
Yeah.
So we have 2. We have David and we have Kevin Carden. So somebody's going to have to do.
I don't think we have time.
Yeah, I don't.
We don't have any time
The
for that.
logistics.
The other part having to do a proclamation or a big resolution later, we have time. But today, if we have by tomorrow, we've got to send an email.
And I
up
think
to
the
them.
mayor.
It won't be on the signature, won't be on our letterhead. It'll be just sent.
I think the mayor can
the
sign
mayor's
it
the
on
one.
behalf of the council.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, so Storm, Christian, and Jesse, the 3 of you take the proposed, doctor it up a little bit, and then I'll send it to me somehow or other, and then I'll use my email here, and I will send it to whoever.
I gave you a list in
Yeah.
your emails.
Well, put that in there,
Okay.
Christian, when you do that, all right? So so somebody put a motion on the floor, so we're united on this thing.
Yes, hang on just a moment.
Do you have all the committee members, or can you come up with that easily,
Yes.
Christian?
Yeah, I can get the
Okay.
committee member. I can do it right now. And you should be sending it to the sponsor and the co-sponsor.
Hey, put all that on there,
Yes, Ridenhour and Hauser,
Funkhauser. Yeah.
Funkhauser, sorry. Yeah. All right, how about
Storm is busily crafting up a great motion.
Wow.
And then when Jesse was giving his position, when he talked about peoples of other languages, etc., I couldn't help think of a good friend of mine from West Virginia, and I thought that was a foreign language when he spoke about the tars and the fars.
Everyone's a foreigner to
Yeah.
somebody.
That's right.
Can I see your scratch copy that you had there?
Sure.
I spent most of my energy and preparation for this meeting thinking about flushing.
I can read this. Move that the mayor send the amended letter opposing West Virginia House Bill 5477 to the members of the West Virginia House Judiciary Committee and to the bill's sponsors.
Everybody okay with that motion? Or second on that motion? We have a second from Chris. Discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Let the record reflect 4-1. Okay, motion to adjourn. We have a motion from Jesse. We have a second from Chris. All those in favor of adjourning? Opposed? We are adjourned at 5:56 p.m.
What? 5:26?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Thank you very for correcting me. It's 5:26, not 56. Greg, you got
You
look at the
panicked.
clock upside down.
I've got to be somewhere safe.